Hey everyone, and welcome to Stuff Moms Have Time For. My name is Rebecca, and I'm actually going to be doing a DIY video today about nail and yarn art. Now, I've been wanting to do a project like this for a really long time. In fact, I have a feeling that I've had the pin on my Pinterest board about doing nail art for probably 4 years, and I figured now is the time to do it. This heart is gonna end up in my daughter Stevie's bedroom, and her bedroom is lavender, so I wanted to pick a burgundy or a purplish color. But if you decide to try nail art, you can really use whatever color or whatever shapes that you want. I thought it would be really cool to maybe get really crazy and do a kid's name in the nails. I haven't been that ambitious yet, but we wanted to see how this project turned out first. So my husband, who is actually quite handy, so the shelves behind me, he made those. He made our lovely mantle piece over the fireplace, and he's also made furniture for me in the past, like our farmhouse bench that I have in my dining room. So I recruited him to help me because I knew that he would make it exactly how I wanted, but I'm going to show you everything that we did to make this beautiful heart sign, and I will link all of the tools that we used in the description box below. I hope you guys like this one. You can try a way simpler version of it, or even buy a straight piece of wood and stain it instead of doing the panels like I did. I kind of wanted it to look a little bit more like shiplap, which is why I decided to do it this way. I hope you guys enjoy this one. If you are not already subscribed, I would love you guys to hit the subscribe button and stick around. I make DIYs, cocktails, recipes, and videos on wellness. I will see you guys next time. Enjoy this one. So the first thing we did was we took a trip to Home Depot to get some wood. I knew I wanted a perfectly square sign, so what I ended up doing is using 4 panels and making it a perfect square, so that was about 18 inches. So we cut 4 different pieces of wood, each of them was 18 inches long. And then once we had 4 panels, we just stuck them together and decided which sides we wanted up and on the top, and then labeled those. And then my husband has a Kreg jig, and I wanted it to be smooth and flat, so he's going to use that for this. So we just used 1 inch and then the setting of 1 inch depth. And then he just clamped that to the work table. So he's basically just making the holes at a diagonal so we can screw the boards into each other without having any boards keeping the panels together in the back. And I wanted it this way because I wanted to use it as artwork, and I wanted to lay flat on my daughter's wall in her nursery. So this is basically what it looks like with all the holes. You just take special screws, and these were the ones we used, and I will link it below. And then basically you just screw each board to each other to give support. And that way, when you're finished, the board is completely flat. So he did that for the first 2 or 3, and then added the last board. And he's just using clamps to hold the board down to keep it as tight and together as he can. And once that's done, you should have a perfect square, and then we're just going to sand the whole thing down so there's no rough edges or no imperfections. And we used a fine grade sander. And then he just went over all the edges as well to make sure there were no splinters. And then my husband just cleaned all of the residue out of the board and then just wiped everything down so there wouldn't be any debris when we stained over it. So I picked like a medium brown color. This is the same color that's on my mantle. You can use whatever stain you want depending on what your room looks like and your furniture looks like. And I would highly advise that you wear gloves when you use this in a well-ventilated area. And then he's just going to stain the whole thing for me. Then we just let that dry. Now, I had chosen a darker color than I wanted it to end up as because I knew some of the color was going to come off once we sanded it. And he kind of just worked at the edges and tried to make it as rustic looking as possible. Also, don't forget the sides when you're doing this so that everything matches. Once he was done sanding, we just cleaned it off again. And then to make this really last and be a standing piece, I decided to have him polyurethane it, and I used a matte finish. And then I let it dry overnight. So then the next morning, I actually used old Christmas wrapping paper because it had a grid system on it. I cut it to the size of the board and then folded it in half. And then I drew half of my heart on the paper to the size that I wanted it to fill the board. Then I just cut the heart out and I taped it once I found center. And I'm going to use that as the template to nail all my nails around. So I actually just used drywall nails, but the real reason I picked them is because they were old looking with flat tops, and I thought this just matched the aesthetic of the project. So then I just took my nails and I started to nail around the outside of my heart template. So then once I had done all the nails around the heart, I just removed the heart from the inside. And there was my heart shaped on my wood. I thought it came out pretty cool just like that. And this is the color that I chose to use in her room because, like I said, her room is lavender and I wanted it to be a little darker. I hope you guys enjoyed this project. It was really fun. It came out beautiful. And once I hang it in my daughter's room, I will post a picture on Instagram. So if you don't follow me there, go check it out. I will leave it in the link below. Until next time, I will see you then.